Hello everybody, welcome once again to another round of our SRL PC Asia Pacific Championship as we are headed to round number 10 of the championship. And the British Grand Prix, of course, the stage for it is going to be the mythical Silverstone circuit, situated somewhere between Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 5.8 kilometer beating heart of Formula 1. Of course, that's been the stage for very exciting races, not only in real life but also in sim racing throughout the many seasons of our league. So hopefully this one is an exciting one as well. In terms of the tires, we are going to have the C1s as the hards, the C2s as the mediums, and the C3s as the softs. So the hardest compounds available from the range provided by the Italian brand. Moving to the standings, we have Combined YouTuber still leading the championship with 126 points, 40 points ahead of Kone as a Flyboy in the best of the Haas, follows in P3, Rysel in the McLaren in 4th, not too far behind the top 3 as T-Mac closes the top 5 as the best of the Alfa Romeos. After that we have Nimble Lil in the Ferrari, Smitty in 7th for the Williams, Pencil in 8th for the Mercedes, Apollo Pepsi not too far behind in 9th, and General Pepe 3 points behind the Renault closes the top 10. Moving to the constructors, we have the Renault team leading the championship with 151 points, followed by Ferrari in P2 with 148. Then of course there's a big gap, 33 points to the third place team, the Woking based McLaren. After that we have in P4 91 points, the Alfa Romeo team, followed by the Toro Rosso approximately 4 points behind, I believe, if I'm doing some mental maths and those are not playing tricks on me. Then 3 points behind we have the Haas, 5 points behind those we have Mercedes, and then we have the Groove-based Williams in 8th, Racing Points in 9th, and Red Bull Milton Keynes team is in last place with only 18 points scored so far. So now the OBS is trolling me and is not wanting to capture the game. There you have it. Okay, so I can minimize everything else and have everything ready. Okay, so everything is alright now in my monitor, and I'm going to get the details for you guys. And hello chat, how are you guys doing? Welcome to the live stream. Already see a bit of support for Pencil there from Rare Rain chat. How are you doing, man? And we have a few drivers already coming out of the pits. I'm going to try to figure out what driver. Yeah, looks like Apollo Pepsi is going to start a flying lap of his own. So let's follow him. Him who hasn't had any top 5s this season. So hopefully he could get one for the number 13 of the Renault. Let's go aboard with him as he gets himself through Club, the 18th corner of this layout, and then gets full beans through turn number 1, almost 300 kilometers per hour as he gets up through the gears. Now hard braking zone into turn number 3, down to 2nd gear, short shifting into 3rd, and now through the loop as he's going to get himself smoothly on the power is needed as he gets himself through the left-hander of aim 3. Now down the Wellington straight up through the gears, mode 4 of ERS, and now it's a very tricky braking zone. It's about 60 meters away from the corners. We approach turn number 6 Brooklands, and now turn 7 of Lovefield. A wide entry to be able to tighten up the exit, to straighten out and be able to put the power down as early as you can, as you get through the last, or the old last corner of Woodcut, and do approach very rapidly to turn number 9. A bit wide there from Apollo Pepsi through Cops, and now one of the most well-known sections of corners in the Formula 1 calendar. You get through Baggots and Maggots, and Maggots and Baggots, sorry, I got that one in reverse because I'm a good commentator. He gets himself through Chapel, and now slightly uphill through the Hangar Straight into the right-hander of Stowe. Also a slightly tricky one to get right. Of course, don't want to get the rear loose on the exit. It's going to now brake hard through Vale and into this last double right-hander of Club to close out the lap. Let's see what he does. He's going to get himself through the line, and he's actually not going to post the lap time. So the game is lagging out completely for me, which is fun, as he's currently on a 4-second lap time. That's nice. Yeah, I'm actually not getting lap times. Only now I realize I'm not getting lap times from anyone. So I'm not sure if we are restarting the lobby or what. I'm not sure. Yeah, but looks like we don't have. Okay, looks like they have updated. Maybe I just had to pause the game and come out of the pause menu. But yeah, we have times now. Pencil is currently on a provisory pole. T-Mac P2, Mikau in P3. Mikau is a new driver in the league. He debuted last time around at Austria. Got himself a podium with P3, the Racing Point driver. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to broadcast that one, but he has done well to get himself P3 at Austria. Let's see if he can start his season with a good result streak. So he just completed his lap. He's getting back into the pits. We have combined YouTuber, our championship leader. He has won Austria, his second win of the season, his fourth podium of the season as well. His previous win was at Spain. Let's see what he does, getting himself through sector number 1. In the meantime, we have Alpha Blue, who has completed a lap, but he got that one nullified, so he's going to have another crack at it. General Pepe moves himself up to a P3. The Indian driver got himself 4th place at Austria, so very nicely done from him. Hopefully he can start stringing some good results. Of course, every single race he has finished, he got himself in the top 5. He debuted with the top 5, or with the 5th place at Monaco, and then he DNF'd at France and came back to finish in the top 5 with the 4th place at Austria. So he occupies P3 for the time being. Going to jump back to combined YouTubers. He's close to finishing up his lap. Currently on the medium tires, so let's see what he does. Kone, the Nepali driver, gets himself 7th place, 128.7 on the hard. It's actually very close to Paulo Pepsi's lap time. Let's see what he does. Oh, the Renault only 6th place on those mediums, 128.6. Maybe wasn't giving his all. Someone else took a leap up the standings. Couldn't quite catch who that was. Maybe Nimble or T-Mac, as they got P6 and P4. Following Smitty and Pirate, who are on outlaps. Pirate is still in the 1st sector. Smitty is getting himself close to the 3rd one. So we're actually going to follow him, as Smitty, the Williams driver, has gotten his fair share of good results. He didn't get the greatest season opener with the DNF at Australia, then came back with the 8th place at Bahrain, didn't race at China, DNF at both Azerbaijan and Spain, then 2 P6 in a row at Monaco and Canada, P2, his first podium of the season, first top 5 finish of the season at France, and P6 at Austria. Hopefully he can get back to his top 5 or maybe even podium performances. Let's see how it goes for him. He's currently on the sots for the time being. He's going to get himself through this turn number 4 of the loop, and now through the left-hander of entry. Let's see how fast he can be, as there are yellow flags in sector 3. Maybe someone was just letting one of their rivals through, so they are slowing down, and of course the yellow flags are brought out. Ooh, he got a bit to the... yeah, he got the lap nullified there, so he's going to bring it down to 0 ERS mode and going to try again later on. So let's jump to the Ferrari of Pirate. He who debuted at Canada with an 8th place finish, got an improvement in 7th place at France. Unfortunately, he didn't finish the race, got terminal damage at Austria. So hopefully he can get back to the top 10 positions. Of course, the Ferraris do need it on their chase for the top of the standings. Let's see, I gets himself through the 1st sector, getting himself through turn 4. The input on the throttle, he's actually maintaining ERS mode 4 on the acceleration there. I would say mode 5 gives you better acceleration. Mode 4 is for the top speed, but he maintains mode 4 there. So I guess it works for him. He gets himself down into Brooklands and Lovefield. Let's see how smooth of an exit he gets. Very smooth indeed. The car quite stable. He gets himself through Woodcut Actually could have taken it a bit tighter. I don't think he took the best line, but woo, very wide there. Yeah, he has to slow down a lot to keep the car on the roads there with how wide he was of the apex of turn 9. He gets himself through Maggots and Beckett's combination, through the left-hander of Chapel, through the second DRS zone, as the flap is wide open at the back of that Ferrari. He's getting himself up through the gears, going to get himself through Stowe, turn number 15 I believe this is. He actually goes a little bit wide there. He gets now through Vale, and once again a hard braking zone into the double right-hander of Club, getting himself through last corner. Let's see what he does. He's going to cross over the line. P6 he actually beats his teammate by just over a 10, so P6 for the Ferrari driver, not bad at all from Pirate. So going to take a look at Smitty, who in the meantime has started a flying lap of his own, currently in sector number 2. There's also more drivers on flying laps. T-Mac is still in sector 1, I'm a Gamer in sector 1, and Pencil is about to complete his lap. He's not improving, he's actually 1/10 slower, but he's not pushing. He's on modes, on ERS mode number 3, so maybe he's just trying to do some practice laps. I don't know, but yeah, he's not pushing at all at this point. So, going to take a look at, oh, Smitty already completed his lap, got 8th place for the time being. Got 8th place for his troubles. T-Mac is improving by 2/10 this far into his lap, and I'm a Gamer. He's not too far behind from his teammate actually. This is going to take turn 9 himself, and look at that maximum commitment through cops, and very nicely done from the Alfa Romeo driver. But yeah, T-Mac is closer to finishing his lap, so let's follow the number 67 to the end of it. T-Mac, who has gotten his fair share of good results, most of them in the top 5, got himself 2 podiums, 3rd place at China and at Spain. He hasn't been able to get above 3rd place though, so hopefully this could be a good start for him, as he's derating through the last corner. That's not going to help him. Nonetheless, he does improve by 3/10, gets himself up to P2, and Simon, ooh, there's a mistake from Simon as he lost the rear through the last corners. Alpha Blue, oh, Alpha Blue's crashed. Alpha Blue is out of the session. The Singaporean driver, I believe that's his nationality, but Alpha Blue is out of the session, so it's going to be starting from the back of the pack. Unfortunately, Simon was also improving, or I'm a Gamer was also improving, but unfortunately he had a mistake through the last corner, so unfortunately not really able to do so. We have Nimble on a flying lap. He's currently through sector 1, so Apollo Pepsi is much closer to it, and he does improve, not enough to get higher than 10th place. So 10th place for the time being for Apollo Pepsi. We have Flyboy in the 3rd sector, improving by over 7/10, so this could be a good lap time from him. At this point it would get a 28.1, which would get him about 5th place. So let's see what he does. He's going to derate as he gets himself out of turn number 17 and into turn 18. As you can see, he's derating. Nonetheless, going to cross over the line in P5 as he separates the racing points, gets himself, ooh, and the racing point responds. General Pepe gets himself the fastest lap so far. Provisory pole for him, as we have Nimble now about to close out his lap. 6/10 faster as he closes in at the end of the lap. This would make him 28.7, I believe. Let's see how it goes for him. And no, sorry, it could be 28.7. It needs to be 27.7. And he actually ends up with a 27.6. Moves up to P4. So nicely done from him as well. And we have most drivers in the pits at this point. We have Kone, the Nepali driver, in out lap on the medium, so this could be a bit of a wild card if he actually sets a lap on the mediums and he gets it on the top 10. So let's see what the Toro Rosso driver does. Kone, who has gotten himself some very good results as well. Every time he finishes, he's finished in the top 5, and his debut race was at China where he finished P2, got himself then back at Spain where he finished P2 again. At Monaco he finished P3, then top 5, then P5 at Canada, followed by a comeback to the podium finishing positions with a P3 at France, and then P5 at Austria. So in the top 5 he has only missed P4 and P1, so hopefully he can push for the first win of the season today. Let's see how it goes from him. He's getting himself, he's actually going down to ERS mode 1, coming out of turn number 4. A bit weird in my opinion. Nonetheless, he is improving by a tenth. Let's see how it goes. Of course, some of his rivals I have seen they derate through the last few corners, through the last 2 corners of the layout, so maybe he's trying to negate that from happening to him. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how committed he is to turn 9. He turns in a bit too late. Can't just carry maximum speed through there, unfortunately. It is what it is. Going to get himself through maggots and backets. Let's see what he does. Actually bringing it down to mode 1 of ERS. You don't need to be that conservative on ERS mode, but it is what it is. He's improving by half a second at this point. That would put him 28.2 in terms of his range. Let's see how it gets now through Stowe. Very nicely indeed, keeping the car within the white lines. A very hard corner, a very hard braking zone into Vale and now into the double right-hander of Club. You can see he had lots of ERS to spare. Nonetheless, he does get himself P6 with a 127.9 laps. Nicely done from him. Pencil, in the meantime, has just started a lap of his own, and we're actually going to follow him as he has done his practice laps and he's gotten a 127.6. He's going now on the mediums and he's going to give it pins. Let's see, can he actually take pole? There's a few drivers who might be closer to the lap, but I think Pencil is one of our favorites to take pole position today. So let's see how it actually goes for the Mercedes driver. He gets himself through Woodcut, up through the gears, through old turn number 1, gets to Stowe, and a bit wide there. He could have turned in just slightly earlier and would have maintained much more speed. So a bit of a mistake there from the Mercedes driver, as Paul Pepsi could have held him up there. Fortunately, he got out of the way on time. Pencil gets himself out of Chapel now, up through the gears at the hangar straights. Let's see how he approaches now Stowe at the end. Or sorry, midway through the third sector. Gets wide there. Not sure if the game is going to penalize him for that one. That's quite the extension. Let's see what he does. Going to get himself through the last few corners. He's going to start derating. Nonetheless, he's going to get himself a non-improvement. 36 thousandths of a second. And he doesn't improve. T-Mac is going on a flying lap of his own, but he just started it. In the meantime, we have Flyboy also through turn number 4. We have Mikau through third sector, gets himself up to P3 with a 127.5, splitting the Alfa Romeo, so a 1-3 for the Racing Points with a 2-4 for the Alfa Romeo. So that's going to be an exciting dispute until the end of our qualifying session, as combined YouTuber is improving by over half a second as he finishes sector number 2. Paul Pepsi is a little bit further back. So let's take a look as Flyboy is getting through turn 9. Let's see what the Renault driver does. Let's see what our championship leader does. Going to get himself now to Vale and out through turns number 17 and 18. He's going to get himself through the last corner, going to cross over the line. P2 for him. 127.498. Look at that, less than a tenth separating him from the provisory pole as the checkered flag is waved. Kona is best case scenario going to get P10 at the end of all this. Flyboy is getting himself through the last few corners of the circuit, and there is one of the Alfa Romeos following him. Not quite sure which one it is. Nonetheless, Flyboy, let's see what he does. P3 for the Haas driver. Nicely done from him. T-Mac is going to follow him. P1, provisory pole, 127.1. Very quick lap from the Alfa Romeo driver. Paul Pepsi can't go beyond 7th place with the 27.6. We have Nimble in the Renault. And he's crashed out. Nimble, massive collision there. And he's out. Combined YouTuber is also out. Simon is going to get himself through the last few corners. And he's going to get himself through the line. He's going to improve on that. And yes, he does. P2. And it looks like, yes, it is. A front row lockout for the Alfa Romeo team. T-Mac in P1. Gamer in P2. Great performance from the Alfa Romeo boys. Very well done indeed. and just over 10 separating the two of them. Journal Pepe had a very good lap. Unfortunately, not enough to get the front row of the grid at 127.4 combined YouTuber. Closes the second row, Flyboy in P5, so very good performance from the AS driver. Mikau is going to have some work to do if he wants to finish the race in the top 3 and maintain that podium streak, or at least start a podium streak of 2 races. And we are going to check the full results in a second. But yeah, Simon is right behind his teammate, getting himself the second, the second spot of the first row of the grid. But yeah, there you have it. Mikau in P7 with a Paul Pepsi in P8. Unfortunately for him, not the greatest performance, I would say. Nimble in P9. Was expecting a bit more from Nimble. Pencil in P10. He ended up not improving on that set of mediums, so he's actually starting from P10, the Mercedes driver. As we have Pirate in 11, Kona in P12, and Alpha Blue had a collision, I guess, with the wall very early on the session, and is not going to be able to post any lap time. So it's going to start from the back of the grid down in P13. Now going to get ourselves through our loading procedures, and let's see how the weather is going to be for this Grand Prix. Okay, it's starting with a bit of clouds, but it's starting in the dry. The sun can still shine over the Silverstone circuits, so let's see how that one develops. Of course, the weather can change rather quickly. Who was Wahed has joined. I guess he got late to the session, and I am not sure if he's going to be able to join us. Because at this point, I'm not sure if he's going to be getting himself a spot on the grid. Nonetheless, we have our drivers getting themselves sorting out their strategies with their race engineers. So, in terms of our strategies, the soft to medium tires will be the most popular, I believe, since most, if not all, of the top 10 drivers qualified on the softs. They have to pit at about lap 10 to go on a set of mediums to take to the end. Of course, those who qualified outside of the top 10 can go mediums to softs by pitting at about lap 15 and taking those tires home, or a brand new set of softs home. So it all depends on what they want to do. Let's see how it goes. We're only waiting for Rysel really at this point, and let's see how it goes. Looks like Pencil has rebooted his game for some reason, but yeah, let's see. Hopefully we don't have to restart the lobby, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, Rysel has left, so not sure how it's going to go. Yeah, I'm not sure if we are going to restart the lobby or not, because Rysel had to quit for things to get going. So yeah, let's wait for further information. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if we are restarting or not. Okay though, so going to get ourselves on the details. Looks like we aren't restarting, at least I haven't had any indications of that, and only Alpha Blue is starting on the mediums. We have Pencil in P10, and his car isn't ghosted. Warhead wasn't able to get a car, yeah, he joined too late, but yeah, Pencil isn't ghosted, so I'm guessing he took back control of his car. So let's see how that one goes. But yeah, interestingly, only one driver going for the medium tire start. Of course, he just needs to keep himself out of trouble, and if he can make up some positions at the start, maybe because of misfortunes from his rivals, he could get the advantage of having the softer tire at the end of the race, and with that he could very well gain quite a few positions at the end of it. So let's see how it goes. Of course, we have for the first time a front row lockout for the Alfa Romeo team, T-Mac, who he hasn't won. His best position has been P3, which he achieved at China and Spain, so T-Mac hasn't gotten himself in the first two places of a race this season, And Simon, or I'm a Gamer, hasn't gotten himself a top 5 finish all weekend. In fact, he hasn't scored any points since Spain, where he finished in P6. Then he got 2 DNFs in a row at Monaco and Canada, did not show up for the French Grand Prix, and also DNF'd at Austria. So looks like this could be a nice turnaround for the Alfa Romeo team, as everyone is lining up on their designated spots. Alpha Blue is going to be the last one to park his car where he's supposed to. Okay, going to get it as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the British Grand Prix. A good start from the Alfa Romeo as the Stimac is going to get himself challenged by General Pepe. Ooh, there's a lot of people going wide. There's Flyboy going wide, as there is Smitty going himself on his inside into turn number 4. There's Pencil trying to make as many positions as he can. He's actually going to come up to P7, but he's going to have the outside into turn number 4. There's Smitty right ahead of him. Paul Pepsi is going to challenge him for P7. Smitty, ooh, there could have been contact there between, and yes, there is contact between Paul Pepsi and the Mercedes, and this spins. Paul Pepsi has spun and he has front wing damage, so very unfortunate start from him, as General Pepe got very deep into one of those corners there. That was left field, I believe. He got himself very deep into that one, so now he's going to come under pressure from Combined YouTuber, as we have Flyboy having a great seat in the house to witness all of that, but Combined YouTuber settling himself with P4 for the time being. Alpha Blue overtakes Mikau and gets himself up to a P10, so a mistake from the Racing Point driver, who has dropped a few places since the start of the Grand Prix. It looks like, yes, he has quite severe damage on the right side of his front wing, so Kona is going to get himself, or try to get himself past the Racing Point, and yes, he is able to do so. Midi is going to try to defend around the outside of Pencil, but Pencil is just faster on the inside of Stowe. Moves up to P6, Pencil having a great start to the race so far. Jumping back to the front, it's T-Mac leading from Simon with General Pepe in P3, Flyboy in P5 as Combined YouTuber is in P4. We have Smitty making a mistake somewhere, I guess, as he gets jumped by Nimble, and T-Mac also jumped by Simon, so something went very wrong there. General Pepe also makes a mistake. Combined YouTuber says thank you very much, moves himself up to P3. Combined YouTuber might try to take a look at the top 2 as well, though that might have to wait and come in a little bit, as we have Pencil challenging for P5, is getting himself the inside of Flyboy. He's going to turn into the outside for Lovefield. Let's see who gets the best exit, as we have, yes, he does get the better exit. He's going to pull himself alongside the Haas. This could end up in tears. Let's see who takes the most disciplined line. Flyboy is forced wide. Pencil backs out of it. He has to stay put with P6 for the time being. Alpha Blue moves up to P9 as Pirates drops down to P11. Big mistake from the Ferrari driver, down to P11. He doesn't have front wing damage, fortunately, but a big mistake from him. Kona and Alpha Blue move each other one place. Midi drops down behind Nimble, and Alpha Blue might be challenged by the Toro Rosso. Let's see how it goes, as Alpha Blue tries to force Kona to a sharper angle into the corner. Alpha Blue is going to try to hold it around the outside. Let's see, will the Toro Rosso come back at him? It's going to be forced onto the outside. It's mediums versus softs at this point. Ooh, there was contacts there between the Toro Rosso and the Red Bull, and Alpha Blue maintains P9 for the time being. Very nice battle there. Could have been maybe a bit naughty from Alpha Blue. Nonetheless, P9 for the Singaporean for the time being. Jumping back to the front, it's Simon Gamer with the lead, as he's starting to pull away ever so slightly to T-Mac. DRS is not available to him, so Combined YouTuber and General Pepe are going to be... Ooh, Combined YouTuber actually throws it very aggressively on the inside. I thought he had actually missed his braking markers, but no, he managed to keep the car on the track limits. And let's see who gets the better exit, as Nimble is very close to his rivals. Connor finally gets past Alpha Blue, but jumping back to General Pepe, Combined YouTuber and T-Mac, they are awfully close to each other, as Alpha Blue is going on a very intense battle with Connor. Those two are still swapping positions left, right and center, so very nicely done from those guys. and Alpha Blue maintains P9 for the time being. Flyboy is going to have the arrests. General Pepe and Combined YouTuber are hunting down T-Mac, not able to overtake the Alfa Romeo though, and Simon, or Gamer, is going to be loving that. He's actually going to be able to start pulling away from his rivals because of that, especially if they cannot get past T-Mac cleanly. Fastest lap of the race for Simon, who gets promptly beaten by Pencils, 131.5 also on the softs. And Pencil might try to take a look at the inside of Flyboy. No, he's not going to throw it just yet. Going to get ourselves now exiting turns 4 and 5, and DRS is going to be able, or enabled, for a couple of these drivers. Combined YouTuber is going to be pressurizing. T-Mac is going to send it down the inside. Almost locked up there. A bit of smoke coming from his front tires. Nonetheless, ooh, a bit of a get a move on there from Combined YouTuber hitting the back of T-Mac. He does get a better exit. T-Mac having issues with the exit, and on acceleration alone is going to get past T-Mac. Flyboy is also going to take... Ooh, there's contact between the S and the Racing Point, and they go for a spin. At least Flyboy went for a spin. Not sure about General Pepe. Looks like he also got a bit out of shape somewhere. Pencil says, thank you very much. There's contact with the Ferrari, and General Pepe is also on the grass. He manages to miss the wall, but not a big mistake from General Pepe. Actually, I'm not sure if there was quite a contact with Nimble. Maybe his tires had just overheated from the contact with Flyboy. And General Pepe, disastrous start of the race for both Racing Points as Alpha Blue and Kone keep going at it. And Kone this time around gets the best of the Red Bull. So it's going to be Alpha Blue now trying to attack the Nepali driver in the laps to come. Combined YouTuber managed to now split the Alfa Romeos. Fortunately for Simon, he still nurses over 1 second lead, and T-Mac is going to start getting the arrest and the slipstream from the Renault, so we can start pressurizing him and further delay his charge and help even further his own teammate. So let's see how that one develops, as well as I'm sure... Oh no, Alpha Blue is actually too far behind. So a bit of a mistake somewhere from the Renault driver, sorry, not the Renault, but the Red Bull driver. So he actually, yeah, he actually lost out quite a bit of time. Jumping back to the front as Pencil is still giving close chase to T-Mac. Just waiting for a mistake from our pole seater, was dropped down to P3, so not the greatest initial laps from the... Oh, there's a mistake from behind the Gamer, and Simon drops down out of the lead. It's also not the greatest start for the Alfa Romeos. Both of them, they were 1-2 at the start of the Grand Prix. Both of them have made mistakes. Pencil overtakes T-Mac. T-Mac drops down to P3. Combined YouTuber is now the leader of the British Grand Prix. Smithy now has Gamer to contend with, so they are going to be pressurizing each other in the laps to come. Pencil gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and is going to be chomping at the bits to get himself past the Renault of Combined YouTuber. I do regard Pencil as faster than the Renault driver, but the Renault driver is our championship leader, so of course Combined YouTuber doesn't want to be losing any points to any potential contenders for the championship. Let's see how it goes. Combined YouTuber is going to pull himself to the inside of Booklands, and let's see, is he going to try to switch back Pencil? No, he does not. He does go for a wider approach into Lovefield. Unfortunately, not fast enough through the apex to be able to capitalize on the mistake from the Renault driver. He's going to maintain himself in P2 for the time being. Jumping to T-Mac, he's losing a little bit of ground as Pencil gets very wide there. Pretty sure these drivers already have their fair share of warnings. No penalties, at least no penalties that I have seen so far. And T-Mac actually gains a little bit on Pencil there through Maggots and Beckets. The RS is going to be wide open at the back of the Alfa Romeo. The Mercedes, unfortunately for him, also has the RS, so T-Mac won't be able to overtake, but they will start piling up the pressure on the Renault of Combined YouTuber, who has to get something pulled out of his bag of tricks to be able to defend from the immense pressure coming from Pencil and T-Mac. So let's see how that one develops. Simon has caught up to the back of Smitty. Smitty was also made his way up to P5. Flyboy, after his mistake, trying to catch up, is catching up to Alpha Blue, and General Pepe and is currently outside of the top 10. Miko and Apollo Pepsi have gone to the pits to replace their front wings and to get set of hards that they are going to take until the end of the Grand Prix, or at least so I expect. Pencil is going to have DRS, is going to go around the outside on the approach to Brooklands, and Combine YouTuber is actually very nicely done there, parking the bus. He can't park the bus that time though, as he could give the squeeze to the Mercedes. Nonetheless, the Mercedes does get the better exit. He's going to get the slipstream. He's going to get mode number 4 of VRS. Let's take a look at Combine YouTuber. He's on mode 3 only. That allows the Mercedes to get on his inside. He's forced wide, but very clean racing there. Very exciting stuff, as we have Combine YouTuber having to defend from Pencil, and look at that, great defending there from the Renault driver around the outside of Cops, maintains the lead of the Grand Prix. T-Mac, obviously, with all that battling, was able to catch up. Pencil is going to have the slipstream and the DRS though. He's going to send it down the inside at Stowe. Combine YouTuber is going to try to have the switchback. He's going to pull himself alongside the Mercedes. Let's see how it goes as they get to Vale. Pencil is going to be forced onto the inside, which turns onto the outside. Ooh, there's contact as the Mercedes tries to put the Renault under a bit of a squeeze, and it does take the lead of the Grand Prix. Smitty drops a few places. Nibble takes himself to the pits. He's the first driver to get himself through the very long, very slow pit lane here at Silverstone, as Smitty gets a penalty of his own. And now let's see as they get themselves out of the hairpin of turn number 4. Let's see, Combine YouTuber is going to have the DRS and the slipstream on Pencil, and T-Mac isn't too far behind. So we have a 3-wide battle for the race win, or potential race win. Let's see how it goes, as T-Mac trying to get himself a run by running a tighter line out of left field. Unfortunately, he can't, by doing that, he can't put the power down quite as early as his rivals, so he loses out all the way in acceleration into this turn number 9. Combine YouTuber trying to have a look at Pencil, not quite successful in that one. So getting ourselves to the end of sector 2. T-Mac getting wide. That's, yeah, he doesn't have damage, so that was just a driving mistake from T-Mac, as Combine YouTuber is going to get himself the slipstream and the RS. He's going to get himself mode 0 of the RS though, and he is far away enough from Pencil that Pencil didn't need to go any mode of VRS other than 0. So Combine YouTuber, he needs to be closer to Pencil if he wants to force Pencil to use ERS, while the Renault doesn't need to, because the Renault has the slipstream and the RS. So he can try to put the squeeze on the resources of the Mercedes driver, but Pencil looks like he has unbeatable pace. He's already gotten a few car lengths away from the Renault of Combined YouTuber, and it's going to be a very tough task for the number 15 to keep up with the Mercedes for the time being. As we have some of the drivers pitting, T-Mac is already serviced. He's going to come out of the pits on a brand new set of the mediums. Flyboy is going to do the same, as of course this is the first lap of the pit window opening for the transition from the softs to the mediums. Flyboy is going to come out of the pits in 11th place. Jumping back to the front, we have Combined YouTuber still hunting down Pencil, so going on board with the Renault driver. Let's see how that one develops. In terms of ERS, Pencil still has the advantage, so let's see how that one goes. Pencil is in mode 0 through maggots and buckets. Combined YouTuber is in mode number 2, so not the most efficient of users of ERS from the Renault driver. And Pencil actually gets a better exit out of the whole complex, forces Combined YouTuber to get mode 4 of ERS just to keep up with Pencil, and is going to opt for the undercut. He's going to get himself to the pits, going to get rid of his tires, going to get himself onto a set of mediums, and this is going to get interesting because T-Mac is on the undercut and is going to take the slipstream and the RS of Nimble, so he's not losing that much time as opposed to being in the battle for P3. So yeah, T-Mac is going to get himself some fast pace. Will Nimble pit? Not yet. Nimble is currently on the mediums as well, so looks like Nimble has undercut T-Mac, and both of them, let's see, will they undercut the Renault? Combined YouTuber is going to get released from the pits, and he does get released ahead of both Nimble and T-Mac. So I would say that T-Mac is in net P4 at this point. Of course, they are going to have a massive undercut on Pencil, so let's see how that one develops, as General Pepe is going to come out of the pits on the mediums in P11. Nimble is going to take a look at Combined YouTuber, is going to get the RS, and is going to just sail past the Renault. The Renault though, ooh, there's contact as Combined YouTuber tries to be the last of the late breakers there. They're coming side by side, getting through love field. Let's see who gets the better exit, as Combined YouTuber looks like he did get a smoother exit than Nimble. Is going to get very close. Ooh, he has to lift off as he gets squeezed almost into the wall by the Ferrari there. A bit cheeky there from Nimble. Not sure if the stewards are going to take a look at that or not. Nonetheless, Combined YouTuber is not going to be able to have an attack at Nimble just yet, as Simon, or I'm a Gamer, is going to the pits. Is followed by Kona in the Toro Rosso, and Combined YouTuber finally is going to get the RS, going to take the slipstream, going to have a higher ERS mode. Nimble though, just authentic dive bomb there on the inside. There's contact, but most importantly for him, he maintains P6, not for too long though, potentially, as Nimble is forced onto the outside of the last two corners, but exactly that forced to the outside allows him to carry more speed through the corner and maintains his position. He's up to P3, as some of his rivals who had yet to pit are getting out of the pits at this point. So it went from a 3-wide battle for P1 to a potentially a 3-wide battle only for P3. Of course, Alpha Blue still has to pit, but Pencil, I'm pretty sure, is starting to pull away from his rivals just by the fact that these three are battling their hearts out at this point. Combined YouTuber is going another go at him, going to force Nimble to take a wider approach to Brooklyn's, and let's see now if he does get a better exit. T-Mac getting a little bit unstable, coming out of the corner. Combined YouTuber is going to pull himself alongside the Ferrari. Let's see, he's going to take the outside of Cops, and he's going to back out. He's going to pull off the switchback, and what a beautiful maneuver! He's up to P3. Combined YouTuber doing the switchback at Cops. What a maneuver there from the number 15. Moves up to P3, even though that might be a bit of a inglorious effort, because now Nimble is going to take the slipstream, he's going to take the DRS, he's going to take the mode 4 of the RS. Ooh, he gets his wheel deep onto the grass there. He could have locked that one up. Ooh, gets himself a tank slapper. He comes across the track. Oh, T-Mac, fortunately for him, is a bit far behind, but yeah, that could have been quite dangerous of a rejoin for the Ferrari driver. Combined YouTuber gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Pencil is still lapping on those older soft tires. Smitty is now the holder of the fastest lap. Couldn't quite catch what time that was, but Smitty is very close to Simon, as Nimble going to take it to the inside of turn number 4. A bit of a tank slapper, trying to put the traction down at the exit of the corner. It's going to be a drag race now. I believe it's the Ferrari. Yes, it is the Ferrari having the RS, but Combined YouTuber is going to tuck right behind him, take a bit of the slipstream, and now he's going to do another switchback out of Woodcut, or sorry, Brooklands, and now into left field. He's going, yes, once again, a wider approach, a tighter exit. He's allowed to straighten the car sooner, he's allowed to get on the throttle sooner, and look at the run he gets at the Ferrari. He's going to get himself, ooh, this time around though, Nimble is going to be a bit more courageous there, a bit more brave with the speed he carries through the corner, and he's going to maintain P3 for the time being. T-Mac is just chomping at the bits, trying to pick up any pieces that might come his way. It's actually, I believe it's only to me, because of course I'm from Portugal. These guys are from the Asia Pacific area, so lag sometimes happens. Nimble's got Sol discombobulated out of turn number 15. Not enough for Combined YouTuber to capitalize and take P3 just yet, but the Ferrari might be abusing his tires, and he needs to look out for those until the end. Pencil He's going to get released from the pits. He's getting himself ahead of his rivals. He's getting himself in P1. Just barely though. Assembly is going to take a look at the inside now of turn number 4. It's going to be a drag race all over again, just like Nimble had on Combined YouTuber. I do believe the Ferrari is going to get the RS. Let's see how it goes. Yes, the flap is wide open at the back of the Ferrari. T-Mac and Combined YouTuber are going to be just getting each other through pencil. Ooh, T-Mac delaying is braking very harshly as Combined YouTuber gets a 3-second time penalty, and Pencil gets shoved down to a net P3. Of course, Pencil has much fresher tires at this point as Combined YouTuber and Nimble are coming to blows once again. Combined YouTuber does get inside. Nimble was trying to look for the switchback, but the Renault not giving him a chance, and he's going to maintain P2 for the time being. Further back, we also have Smitty getting close to I'm a Gamer, but hasn't been able to overtake just yet. General Pepe is also closing in on Flyboy, but no changes on off position on that front. Nimble is going to take the DRS and the slipstream on Combined YouTuber. Combined YouTuber is trying to hold it down the inside of Stowe. Nimble actually gets himself wide, allows the Renault to keep himself sort of alongside. Let's see how it goes. Nimble closes the door on Combined YouTuber. He has to maintain himself in P3 for the time being. Alpha Blue is getting his rivals closing in. He's dropping time and over fist, but of course this is not the battle Alpha Blue he wants to be involved in. Alpha Blue is going to pit in about 2 laps time. Ooh, as Combined YouTuber gets a bit of a tank slapper there. But yeah, the Red Bull driver is going to be pitting in a little bit, and he is going to be having the advantage on the soft tires at the end. Nimble is going to get pressurized by Combined YouTuber again. Ooh, Combined YouTuber is really throwing the car onto the inside of Brooklands there. He's going to once again try to get the bit of the switchback on Nimble. I do believe he got a better exit. Let's go on board with him. And is he closing in? He's going to take the slipstream. I apologize for that. He's taking the slipstream of the Ferrari, but not enough to pull the trigger on it just yet. But now, with all this battling, look at this. Nimble all the way down to Smitty. They are all within a second of each other. Smitty is a bit too far away to get anything going, but nonetheless, at this point, take a look at this. Everyone is so close to each other. Combined YouTuber is going to take a go around the outside of Nimble. And ooh, Nimble actually closes the door on the Renault there. Very nicely done. Ooh, a late move there from the Renault as he takes the inside of the Ferrari. The Mercedes is going to get his exit compromised by the slow-moving Ferrari, and he's going to have to stay put in before. Can't capitalize on the mistake from Nimble. Combined YouTuber though moves himself up to P2, and the battle for the win is wide open, ladies and gentlemen. Nimble and Combined YouTuber might start to struggle in terms of their tire wear, because of course they have at least 3 tires older than the Mercedes. T-Mac does make a mistake. Smitty is all over the back of him. Ooh, hopefully that's not happening on Smitty's screen. And Pencil wasn't able to overtake the Ferrari. T-Mac drops down a place. Smitty moves up to P6. Another mistake from T-Mac. T-Mac, unfortunately, it was a front row lockout for the Alfa Romeos at the beginning of this Grand Prix. Unfortunately, it all blew up on their face due to their own driving mistakes. Pencil, Nimble, and Combined YouTuber are going at it another time around as they're getting themselves to the end of the second sector. General Pepe takes a 3-second time penalty. DRS is going to be wide open at the back of the Mercedes and of the Ferrari. Combined YouTuber can't just do much to avoid that, and Combined YouTuber is actually going to try to outbrake the Mercedes there. Let's see how it goes as they coming out. Ooh, he forces actually the Mercedes a bit wide there. And ooh, the Renault gets deep into the corner. He goes actually over the curb there. That's not the fastest way around it. Nonetheless, he does get himself down to P3 as Alpha Blue finally is getting to the pits. And Nimble actually gets a couple of car lengths on his rival. Smitty very close to Simon and to Combined YouTuber. Not close enough to pull the trigger on it, as Alpha Blue is going to get himself out of the pits in P11. But of course, most of it, actually P12. But yeah, most of his rivals are on older tires. So Alpha Blue, it just needs to keep his head down, needs to start pushing. I hope he has the fuel to start pushing, because the race, basically the race starts now for him, and he's going to keep himself going on those softs until the end, unless of course he does any mistakes. Let's see what sort of rhythm he can put up on that set of softs and how many positions he can gain by doing that. Combined YouTuber having a moment there with Simon and gets dropped down 2p4, so Combined YouTuber having a couple mistakes, and now it's Pencil who has opened up a gap. 2p3, Pencil is going to have free reins on Nimble, he's going to get to DRS, he's going to get to Slipstream. Nimble has even less than half of the battery charge that the Mercedes benefits on. Nimble gets wide, spins, and fortunately doesn't collect no one. Oh no, he does get collected, and there's massive chaos, there's a massive crash between, there was Combined YouTuber and someone else. Was that Smitty? Not sure. Yes, it was Smitty, Combined YouTuber, and Simon. So all three of them got collected on the spin of Nimble, and everything has turned upside down. Pencil is now 3 seconds away. He has the freshest tires out of the field. He's probably going to just try to extend his lead. T-Mac gets P2, Nimble gets P3. Kone up to P4 after not starting. Where did he start? I think he started outside of the top 10. Yeah, Kone in P4. Midi, he could still try to battle with Combined YouTuber and Simon for the last of the top 10 positions. So I'm not sure what he's going for. Simon and Combined YouTuber are also going for another set of mediums, which I find weird. They could very well go for softs. Yeah, lots of drivers getting benefited by this, especially Kone, who might be on his way for another podium. He could be on his way to his 5th podium of the season. So Kone doing very nicely to keep himself in contention. Flyboy and General Pepe are going to be in close contention though. Of course, Alpha Blue getting on the softs, and with that incident involving Midi, YouTuber and Gamer, it's going to be very beneficial for the Red Bull driver because he's already in the points. So everyone that he overtakes now, it's just going to add to be a bonus, I would say. Let's see how it goes for him though. General Pepe is going to keep up with Flyboy for the time being. Kone and Nimble are still very close to each other, so this might become a 4-way battle as well for the last of the podium paying positions, because Nimble is 3 seconds away, over 3 seconds away from a T-Mac, so and T-Mac is also losing time to Pencil, so I don't think there is much that P1 and P2 can do to swap positions unless there is a mistake. So I think the battle now is going to be for the last of the podium paying positions. Flyboy is still trying his hardest to keep up with the 2 cars ahead of him, because of course if he can get the Slipstream and the RS, those 2 are going to start battling each other as well. So Kone is... Oh, there's a moment! Ooh, what reflexes there from Flyboy to keep control of the Haas. Very nicely done. That was amazing there from Flyboy. Very quick reactions, very good display of car control there from Flyboy, reacting fast enough to maintain under control of his car, and is going to be now challenged by General Pepe, but is going to be pinching the racing point onto the inside, and yes, he does maintain P5 for the time being. Kone had a go at Nimble, wasn't successful on that one, so he's going to have to stay put in P4 for the time being. Simon still very, very close to Combined YouTuber, as they are going to get themselves through another DRS zone. Let's see how it goes. DRS is going to be open at the back of the Alfa Romeo, and I do it. Oh, it's actually mode 0. Combined YouTuber is on mode 3, and this is exactly what I've been mentioning in few races. Simon is just using 0. He knows he can just keep up with Combined YouTuber despite not using ERS, since he has the Slipstream and DRS, and Combined YouTuber is very low on his resources. So whenever I'm a gamer once, it just pounces on Combined YouTuber, and that's going to be the end of it. So Yeah, he's really going to try to take that last of the point spring positions. Alpha Blue is also closing in very rapidly on the Ferrari of Pirate. And we have Kone closing in. Sorry, actually, no. Kone has lost ground to Nimble. So, a mistake there somewhere along the way from Kone. Flyboy also very far behind. Not sure what. Oh, another tank slapper from him. But yeah, those two had big mistakes. General Pepe is going to say thank you very much and moves up to a P5. So Flyboy, of course, is going to keep himself in Sleep Sim and DRS of the Racing Point, but the Racing Point driver has been last, if not last, very close to last at one point, and he's come back to P5. So very nicely done from him. Yeah, you can never give up. You are never out of contention considering the position changes. General Pepe started the race in P3, but he has gone down to last and he's gotten himself back up to P5. Kone gaining 8 positions since the start, and Pencil, qualified in P10, is now leading this Grand Prix. So even Mikau got himself involved early on in an FT crash. He's actually showing me as being on the medium tires, which I don't believe. He's on the hards, I would say. 18 tires, or 18 laps old hard tires. So Pirate is going to be chomping at a bit to get up to him. Let's see how that one goes. Jumping back to the front, Pencil just nurses a 4-second gap to T-Mac. So I don't expect Pencil to have to contest for that P1, especially as now that T-Mac got himself a 3-second time penalty. Nimble can actually get P2 if he maintains this. So we are actually going to take a look at these points at the race director and take a look. So Pencil has 2 warnings, T-Mac has, wow, T-Mac has 4 penalties, so that is 12 seconds. Nimble has a penalty, 2 penalties, and Kone has only 1 warning. Kone could get P2. Kone could get P2. Kone just needs to maintain himself at this gap from Nimble, and then T-Mac has so many penalties that he might actually get dropped out of the top 4, or the top 5 even. But yeah, Kone might be on his way to another 2nd place finish. It would be the 3rd 2nd place finish for Kone in this championship. So Pencil making a mistake because T-Mac just gained a 2nd on him. So Pencil, he needs to keep himself, he has the softer tire, or the fresher tire, so it shouldn't be a tire wear thing. It was probably just a driving mistake, just missed a braking zone somewhere, I guess. But yeah, Pencil is also saving, he's driving on mode 0 of ERS for this entire lap. So I guess he's just saving himself, maybe trying to save his tires to get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Speaking of which, it is Apollo Pepsi who owns it with a 129.9. And Pencil, I'm pretty sure he could beat that one if he actually goes for it. So T-Mac, I'd say, is basically out of contention for anything unless there is massive mistakes from the remaining of his competitors. Flyboy, since getting overtaken by General Pepe, hasn't been able to keep up with the Racing Point. The gap is already over 1 second. General Pepe is 3 seconds away from Kone, and Kone is also one of those guys. Since getting overtaken, is not able to keep up with the car ahead, despite the fact that Nimble has 3 laps older tires. Simon gets a penalty to his name, so he might not be able to get P10 from combined YouTuber. Alpha Blue is getting very close to Pirate as well, so we're actually going to follow the Red Bull driver on the soft tires for the time being, because of course he has been using too much, I would say. He's been using too much ERS. He needs to start saving it. He needs to start trying to put the squeeze on the resources of the Ferrari. He's not using his ERS effectively at all, and that's going to cost him, going to really cost his chances to take more than 9th place at today's Grand Prix. Ooh, big mistake from Alpha Blue. Almost ended up in tears as he almost screamed himself on the rear diffuser of Pirate. 2 spins. Ooh, I almost collected Pirate, but almost collected Alpha Blue, but Pirate doing his best. At least he kept the car out of the barrier, or at least maintained his front wing intact, which is not too bad. But whew, that was very close to collecting Alpha Blue. That could have been nasty. Simon tries to have a go at Combined YouTuber, ultimately is not quite successful, but they are going to maintain their battle for P10 for the time being. Pencil gets the fastest lap, 1:29.7, and yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, you guys. He was just saving his resources so that he could go himself now on the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He wants the full 26 points, especially since Combined YouTuber is going to score a very reduced amount of points due to his misfortunes. Pencil really needs to capitalize on that and get himself some good points to challenge the championship with. Well, now, taking a look further down the order, Nimble 2 seconds away from T-Mac, and Kona is maintaining the gap. Flyboy still is losing to General Pepe. I'm actually going to take the gap to the leader because T-Mac has 12 seconds of penalties, right? So anyone within 16 seconds will jump T-Mac unless those drivers have penalties of their round. So considering that no one has penalties, it would be T-Mac dropping back down to P6, Flyboy gets P5, and of course all other drivers get moved up a spot. But yeah, some of the other drivers in that top 5 do have penalties. Now the question is, how many penalties? I know Alpha Blue with a penalty of his own, but I do know that Kone doesn't have a penalty. So if Kone doesn't have a penalty, he could get himself P2 at the end of this. So very nicely done from him for the time being. The top 6 is mostly just 2 seconds apart each car, so just having the 3 remaining laps to go on this Grand Prix, and I don't think much is going to change until the end of it. Of course, we always like a good race, a good close race, but sometimes this also happens. The skies didn't darken throughout it, so the weather was on its best behavior. Maybe a bit uncharacteristic of the British weather. Nonetheless, the skies are cloudy, but not threatening at all. They're causing some shade on the track, but the sun is still quite visible at some points of this British layout, as you can see. Yep, you can see much brighter this spot of Maggots and Beckett. So the sun is shining all the way through but sector number 3. So yeah, nowhere near rain, at least for the time being, but we might have a few surprises in terms of the penalties, as Apollo Pepsi goes for the fastest lap, just trying to deny being the best teammate he can be and denying the fastest lap from Pencil to claim himself the extra point, or I mean, not claim himself the extra point, but just to deny it to the guys in the top 10, because of course, obviously, Paul Pepsi is not in the top 10, so even if he gets the fastest lap, he won't inherit the points. As we are now in lap 25 out of 26 here at this British Grand Prix, and Alpha Blue is gaining time and over fist on Mikau. Mikau has had a crash very early on the Grand Prix, got damage on his front wing, went into the pits to switch onto a set of hards, which he is still carrying. Of course, many misfortunes of his rivals promoted him up to P7, so a bit of good luck to balance the bad luck he had initially, but of course 23 laps on those hards going to be quite tough. Alpha Blue, of course, is also starting to run out of life on his softs, but if he's able to close in on Mikau, he could still claim P7 perhaps. Now jumping back to General Pepe, who's actually closing in on Kone, and Kone, yeah, both Kone and General Pepe are not really having the best management of resources, but General Pepe looks like he's a bit more comfortable at this point, and is catching up Kona and is going to try to challenge that before that could very well end up into a top 2. Of course, I'm going to take a look at General Pepe's penalties. Ooh, no. General Pepe has penalties of his own, has 2 penalties. Kona doesn't even have 2 warnings. So, very disciplined race from the Nepali driver of the Toro Rosso, and that's going to allow him to probably get P2 at the end of this Grand Prix. The gap from the leader to P2 has extended to 5 seconds, and Pencil has just had he put no foot wrong. Of course, he qualified in P10, so I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but he didn't put a foot wrong the entirety of the race. Just made his moves where he had to and capitalized on the misfortunes of his rivals. He's going to get himself through the last sector one final time. General Pepe has gone very close to him as Simon is out of the race. Don't know if there was a collision with combined YouTuber, but Simon is out of the race. Nonetheless, getting ourselves to Pencil as he started P10 at a great recovery. And there you have it. Pencil is going to cross over the line to take home the win of the British Grand Prix. Second win of the season for the Mercedes driver. He won at Canada, got P2 at Austria. But great performance there from the Mercedes driver. Kona on the penalties, as I was expecting, gets P2, Nimble P3, Channel Pepe P4, T-Mac P5, Flyboy P6, very narrowly indeed. Cow P7, Alpha Blue is going to claim a P8, Pirate is going to take a P9, and Combined YouTuber P10, as a Paul Pepsi is going to be last in 11th place. You can see he's very far behind. He's still getting himself through the second sector. But yeah, Pirate also had that spin. He's going to get the penalty for, I believe he exceeded the pit speed limit. He exceeded that speed limit upon entry. So yeah, he got those 5 seconds added to his final race time. And he's actually jumped by Combined YouTuber, who claims P9. So actually, look at that, 0.6 of a second allow Combined YouTuber to get himself P9. Very nicely done, not giving up, and he gets himself 2 points instead of only 1. And Apollo Pepsi, of course, newly managed to take away the fastest lap point from his rivals, at least trying to do the best in terms of the championship. Nonetheless, his race didn't go accordingly to plan, I'm sure. Can't go above 11th place. Now getting ourselves through the celebrations then, and it is the Mercedes driver on the top step of the podium. It is Pencil taking home the win of the British Grand Prix with not a great performance from the Toro Rosso of Kona, as he takes the second place finish of the season, and they are both alongside the Ferrari of Nimble, as of course Nimble took also his fair share of penalties. 9 seconds of penalties. Channel Pepe in P4 in the racing point after starting P3. Still after his mistake, he can consider himself a good performance to come back to P4. T-Mac P5, Flyboy P6, Macau in P7, still also after his front wing damage in the first couple laps. Very, very good job from him to recover. He actually finished in the same place he qualifies. Alpha Blue from the last place on the grid to P8, nicely done from him. Combined YouTuber still claims P9 as Pyrite gets P10, Apple Pepsi 11th. Simon and Smitty were victims of the demands of this Grand Prix, as they both did not finish. So yeah guys, this is it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is as always right beside it. Subscribe if you like to see more. Hit the bell icon for any notifications of whenever we are about to start a live stream or to post a video. Hope to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.